All right, call the July 9th, 2024 Village of Lake Park Council meeting to order, and Councilman Scaldera will offer the invocation.
Heavenly Father, as we gather here today for our village council meeting, let us take a moment to center ourselves and reflect on the privilege we have to serve our community. We come together with diverse perspectives, united in a common goal, to foster the well-being and prosperity of our village. May our discussions be guided by wisdom and clarity, and our decisions rooted in the fairness and compassion. Let us listen with open minds and speak with respectful voices, always remembering the trusted place in us by our fellow villagers. In the spirit of cooperation and dedication, may we strive to build a stronger, more vibrant community for all. Let our efforts today be marked by integrity and commitment to the common good. Thank you for your presence and participation. Let us now proceed with the spirit of collaboration and a shared vision for our village. Lastly, please watch over our hometown hero as she has neck surgery this week. Amen.
Can't please rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment up first, we've got Lori Scaldera.
I'm here on behalf of the HOA, asking again for this time beer and wine garden. I've reached out to a wine vendor that was out in Weddington. They do have the event ABC permit, the same as the beer vendors, have a lot of requests for a wine garden. July 26th does fall on a food truck Friday, which actually the Friday we don't have the band Too Much Sylvia, Friends of Big Crowd. I think that's it. Any questions?
Any questions, Laura? Is there a motion to approve?
Oh, she got one question.
You'll do the standard 3 deputies, 3 contract deputies and,
Two and one supervisor.
right. And you
If
have,
available.
yeah, and you have, the area roped off as usual.
As usual.
And will you need more trash cans? Do you need to reach out? Okay,
Probably not. We've been pretty good before. We've had some pretty big crowds this year,
okay.
pretty much every Friday. So, I don't know that I anticipate any more of the crowd, maybe. The last time they were out, it was about the same, so. And it's right smack dab in the middle of July and it's hot, so that keeps a lot of people away, so. But yeah, all the stipulations will be the same, all the other beer gardens the same, broke off area. It might be an actual larger since we have a vendor, but, the same stipulations will be in place. We'll put the sign up, November 21, sponsored by HOA, signs, so that, you know, what the beer one? Oh, they'll be probably next to each other. So they're separate. But they're separate, yes.
Thank you.
I'm not sure where I'm gonna set them up yet, but
I'd like to make the motion to pass the beer and wine garden with the previous stipulations that we have had in the past.
Joe's made a motion, Bruce seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, Lord. Next up, Nydia Hoagland.
Media will live here in Lake Park. This is my husband Hector. We're gonna have an event on August 17th, a Saturday, and we came here to ask for the closure of Meeting Street because we're gonna have food trucks, and we're gonna have a small parade that they're gonna walk around the park, dressed in typical dresses and stuff. So we would like for them to stand in Meeting Street before they walk around the park, and also Meeting Street will back to the food trucks.
How many, I think, one of the things, and we'll let council speak in a minute. I don't think, tell me what kind of event it is, because we've not previously rented to any kind of event that brings in things like that?
Oh. So we have a nonprofit, it's called Enlace Dominicano, it's a small nonprofit, we've been having it like for a year. And what we do is we celebrate different events, to, promote Dominican culture and to celebrate culture. And, this time we're, celebrating, something called the Restoration of the Dominican Republic. It's like the celebration of the second independence of the Dominican Republic from Spain. So we're gonna have like speakers and singers and the parade. Then we're gonna have activities for the month.
And is it open to the public or?
Yes, yes, something to the public.
Any idea how
Not,
many?
not all the public, like the people who are in our Facebook group.
Any idea how many people you're thinking might would attend something like this?
Yes, like 100, 120. So we already talked to the deputies and we're gonna have two deputies.
You've contracted with Union County for the deputies, or you're not talking about the one that we already have? You're talking about
No,
separate?
no,
deputies?
no,
Okay.
we didn't have deputies.
Parking is what I'm thinking of, is parking for that many vehicles. And you gotta go to church to need permission from the church to park there. I'm just thinking of traffic.
Yeah, parking's okay, especially if Meeting Street's closed. Parking is
Yeah.
definitely gonna be an issue on that. We haven't been, well, I guess we have had one event that was not a village event, that was a larger one that was brought to us, and to be honest with you, I felt that it was misrepresented to us. I'm gonna ask some questions so that we can all be clear and make sure that everything's set up right, because I felt we were totally misrepresented the last time of what we had, and that's the only time to my knowledge is when we did Miss Dee Dee's anniversary. And we were told that was gonna be an anniversary event, but it was a fundraiser that was really to somebody else. Now, you said food trucks, how many food trucks do you have lined up to come?
We're thinking 2 or 3.
Now, if you do have the food trucks that are coming, but with or without closing the road, you can still have at least a food truck there. You know, that wouldn't
Also,
be a
I
problem.
don't need to close the road to have it.
No, you should have, you can have them parked over on the side of the road
Oh,
where the window is facing the sidewalk.
okay.
So you wouldn't have to do that. Now, food trucks would have to have their proper certificate of insurance.
Yes,
And their proper permits and everything for that. Another question for you, have you, applied for or received your permit from Union County for an event? You'd have to have an event permit for this, because this is more than just renting the gazebo. If we just had a party that we rented the gazebo for, then you wouldn't need a permit, but if you're doing something that is considered of a parade and other games and other festivities, then we have to have an event
Do I
permit
have
for
to
that.
apply for that in advance, like?
Yes, you'd have to apply with that with Union County. For that, I believe it's Christie with Union County, sure.
Christie does.
Yeah,
that,
Christie
yes.
does the permits for
Christie
that.
Ford.
I don't have time to do it.
Excuse me.
How many hours is it?
I believe I saw it was gonna be 4 or 5 hours. The event was gonna be 4 or,
From 10 to 2 or 10 to 3.
and
10 to 2, I would say, because we need 1 hour to clean up.
yeah, well, of course, I mean, that wouldn't count towards that, I don't think. We let you clean up, I don't think that's a problem. But, and then, yeah, of course, you're a nonprofit, correct, 503C?
We are applying for the 501.
Okay, are you insured? Is the 503C insured? You have certificate of insurance
We
for that?
applied for it, but we're waiting to receive it at the end of July.
I think we're gonna have to have insurance for this beforehand, correct?
Oh, insurance.
When is the event planned?
So insurance, let me write it down.
Yeah.
What date are you planning this on?
August 17th.
A short window for getting what you need. Tight.
Any other
I,
questions, comments, thoughts?
the only thing that I'm still in parking, because you don't want them going down the street that's gonna park, the restaurants
Right.
that are there. So I think that they gotta contact the church and say, can we park there in the event? That's just my 2 cents. 120 people, it's a 2 people, so a vehicle, 60 cars. We don't have. we don't have-
Yeah, there's not 60 spaces there. They could use, if the church is okay with that, you're right.
Yeah.
They could use that, so that's good thought there too.
And another question, we were thinking about opening it for, to the community, but if there is parking problems and all that, then I'm thinking about.
Well, see, that's what our thing is most of the events that we've had that are larger of this size, or all the events we've had, really pretty much are larger of this size, have been for the community. So a good part of the people can walk there, or, it's a short distance for them. So this is a little bit different, where, like I said, we haven't really been involved in stuff like this. That's why when we ask questions, make sure we have everything all together. We definitely have to have that now. But, as far as the food trucks go, I mean, am I correct in saying, as long as we have the right permits,
as
we
we
wouldn't
have-
have to necessarily close Meeting Street for the food trucks, as long as they were parked in the spaces.
Right.
And they'd be
In the
facing
parking
towards the
spaces.
sidewalk, so you wouldn't have to close Meeting Street. I don't think I'd be comfortable, I don't know about the rest of you guys, of closing Meeting Street for a non-village event.
No.
For that, because we have businesses there, I know there's nothing there now, in front of that, we have businesses that could be there, that if we set the precedent of doing that, then we're stuck keep on doing that. I think that'd be an issue there, but just to have your food trucks there, that shouldn't be an issue, so you should be okay with that. Yeah, you still set them up there like that.
I thought we had to. So for that restroom.
Are you doing this by invitation to Dominican culture?
Well, we have an invitation in the group and Facebook.
The Facebook group is where you were thinking about the 100 or so people. So it'd be that plus anybody that came from the village. So one of the things that, like Jim was saying, is parking. So you kind of think where this is headed is like, you got some homework to do and come back in August, but we would need an insurance certificate from the 501c3 that's putting this thing on.
But what if we still don't have a flyer with 501c3?
We applied.
Yeah, we applied for it, but we're waiting for it at the end of July, so we don't.
How long ago did you apply?
It said that it was gonna take like 6 months.
6
and
months.
We're calculating end of July. That's not.
You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think the situation is, we typically, when we just rent the gazebo, when you go rent the gazebo, that's what you're renting, is the gazebo, not the park. You just rent the gazebo. So the park doesn't close, so anybody that wants to walk to the park or mingle over there or have a picnic, they can do it. But it's typically rented to like a graduation celebration, or there's been a wedding out there with 20 people. I think this is a much different, this is more along the lines of an event. Ken, would you agree from a legal perspective that triggers the need for insurance? Because if you're gonna bring 100 people in who are gonna be in the park doing whatever, and if something happens, then we would need to be held harmless and have
No, we'll definitely get insurance.
What kind of insurance?
liability, general liability, I'm assuming. Yeah,
You're talking about a parade too? Parade.
walking.
That's a walking trail around the sidewalks, not on the road. Correct, the parade was on the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Right, the sidewalk, not the road, so.
We're gonna do it.
So, and then the last thing would be parking, like Jim said, if you talk with the church about letting them use parking lot, Central Church.
Being it more typical of an event, is there going to be required facilities, restroom facilities, or?
They had,
They've asked the HOA to use their,
No, oh, they did.
their 2 porta potties that are there.
anything else?
I think that's the main thing.
Anything?
It's gonna have to get back to us in the August meeting.
Yeah, we won't, we meet again until August.
Which.
Well, we really don't need to approve their event, correct? They've already rented the place, so if they have all the information to provide it to Sheree, we don't have to vote this. Correct? We were what they were asking for was to close Meeting Street. But as far as the event goes, for what was set up,
We don't.
And that's fine. I think what we need is direction from council to Sheree of what all is required. So that if those are met, then the conditions, because I think if somebody doesn't approve an event of this nature, I don't know that I necessarily like that onus to be on the office to decide if 200 people's okay, if 100 people's okay, if 300 people's okay.
Yeah, our permits doesn't,
It does have a thing on
Specify
there that
for it.
asks what you're doing, right, Sheree? Doesn't it?
Yes. Well, it says
Use or something.
use, yeah.
what was the use listed for this?
No, I'd have to, I'm sorry.
I'm just curious.
So we know we need a certificate of insurance naming the village as additionally insured.
And is that like $1 million?
That's what the typical policy is. And then we need a copy of your event permit from Union County.
About the 501(c)(3).
I think that would go hand in hand with the insurance.
I mean, but does the insurance have to be in 501s?
Would have to have their name on it, or
Their name.
if they don't have that, I would assume they would be okay with applying for it as a sole proprietor.
Right.
Yeah,
So they could just do it in their name instead of 503C, they just would be able to have the tax advantage of it.
right.
Right, they could do it as a sole proprietor and get the insurance certificate with that.
Right.
I don't think we could that still be able to run it that way instead of doing 503C. So that shouldn't, whether you have that, I know you'd like to have that, but whether you have that or not shouldn't affect it. But with the insurance, you need to talk with the insurance person.
Proof of deputies being on there.
I mean, they'll have to have the deputies, so, yeah.
Sheree's right,
I'm sure you'll get
read it to us. Go ahead, Sheree.
And then the food trucks, certificates of insurance, they just email those to you. So you'll just need to ask the food trucks to please email those to me.
What about the idea of inviting the community? Because now I'm a little bit hesitant about that.
I'm sorry?
You're not what?
About the idea of inviting the residents of Lake Park, because then it will be more people.
I think that's up to you. I think but if you're expecting 100 from the Facebook group plus whatever, I think it's still, these conditions still apply.
I don't think we could really stop anybody from going to
Yeah,
the park itself. So, that, by proxy, they're invited,
Yeah,
so.
that's why we said yes, because, if we're doing it here in Lake Park, it would be weird if the residents didn't know about it.
Mhm.
So.
Anything else, Sheree?
Parking from the church.
Parking.
Type of proof of parking in the church.
Yeah, that's,
Parking at Central Church.
You know which one is Central Church, right? Okay.
And a letter, you got a letter from the sheriff's office saying they're covered or whatever, something from them. I'm sure one of
Yeah,
our
we
deputies
can
will get
just
that.
verify.
Yeah, right.
What about this part? We can use? This
Just-
one?
No,
That'll
that's
be for the
part
pool.
of the pool.
That'd be
Pool
full.
units.
yeah, the pool will be packed with that, so.
Okay. So we have to move.
As I say, contact Central Church.
Okay,
and
sure.
ask if they use that.
Yes.
You might also be able to park behind the businesses.
Being
Being that
Saturday,
it's
we'll
a
be using a
Saturday.
whole lot of that, so there'll be some
There
spaces
might be
there.
some spaces back there.
That's the lot.
Not the condominium.
Yeah, behind the Mexican
Right,
restaurant.
behind, yes,
We can,
behind the
we can get you in
office.
contact with the lady to talk to on that. Is it Talia?
Tally,
Yes.
that's all
All
I
right,
have.
so is there a motion then to approve it on conditions of these? To move forward.
I'll make the motions to approve the festival as long as the conditions are met,
Sherry will tell us.
which Sherry has there, which she can list right now if she'd like.
COI of naming the village as additionally insured, the event permit from Union County, the food truck certificates of insurance, parking at Central Church, and then we'll verify the deputies are here.
I'll second that.
Jim, second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank
So if you guys will just work with Sheree on this,
Yes.
getting that done.
We will.
A lot of work to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
It was so much fun.
And last, Jennifer Perkins.
Thank you. I am here just on behalf of I think the community, specifically the pool community. So I am a resident of Lake Park, have been for 27 years. I have been a pool participant probably since the onset of the pool. So it is come to what I call a problem. There is now a couple gentlemen who smoke right there against the bench that's on the volleyball court. And he leans up against it and smokes, and the smoke comes right into what we call the adult pool. Oftentimes I am typically right there on the chair laying, and it just hits me. And then he knows I'm not happy. I have said something to him that is not appropriate. So
Could you please repeat that?
I said it was not appropriate. I just really was not happy. So he knows that. And so he decided to move to the bike rack. That is now where he is standing. Another gentleman on Saturday thought he would join him. So together, and I have 2 grandsons that I was in the baby pool with another mother who was 8 months pregnant with her 2-year-old. And she is the one who said, "Who is smoking?" I said, "It's him right there." He stood right against that bike rack and smoked. There are kids that play on that volleyball court. There's kids that come and put their bikes in the bike rack. There is a no smoking vaping sign right there on the pool. So my thought is the intention was to not smoke on that sidewalk. I feel like it is not too much for the council to consider having along that side of the fence as no smoking as well. And just to have it marked. I realize it's not something that can necessarily be policed. I just think the signage would help. And I know in the past, we had smokers that would smoke over here in the yard, and that doesn't bother me. I'm not saying that I want people to be banished from smoking. Absolutely not. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it is not appropriate to smoke where there are children and there are people that are paying to go to the pool and not get the scent of smoke while they're laying there at the pool. So I have said enough, and I always say I have my money where my mouth is, so I am coming to you and respectfully asking for your consideration of marking that area as non-smoking.
But we won't ask you for anything.
Okay.
You said you're gonna put your money where your mouth is.
Well, I certainly appreciate you coming here and asking us rather than just being a Facebook post or something that gets everybody all riled up and does nothing, but.
I
What
was
would you
riled
think?
up when I contacted Jeremy. That was a riled up moment.
What would you think would be good? 25 foot, 50 foot?
No.
I even said if you go 10 feet, that will take you to that volleyball court. I mean, it's not something that I'm asking. I just think if you did it all the way around and you had little signs that say no smoking, he's gonna get the hint.
This guy's just purposely doing it to tick you off or something.
I don't
Why
know.
does he pick this place to smoke of all places?
Well, he's in
He's in the
the,
pool and he's walking out of the pool and going to go
Oh,
smoke.
he's just,
So
oh,
see,
instead of
it's no
going-
smoking on the pool.
gotcha.
Right,
Maybe you could assign a designated smoking area.
and that, yes, I think would be, I didn't know if that was too much to ask for, but yes, I didn't know if we wanted to do that.
Cajun.
Well. So I think that there should be some consideration, like I said, for that side. The other side has the tennis court, the other back side doesn't really have, any sidewalk. So it really would be this side and more, I think signage would kind of get the message out there. I know the lifeguards, I've talked to them about it and they don't want to police it, which I completely understand. But everybody knows who he is. I'm pretty much, you can come out here just about, he's here 4 to 5 days a week. And he smokes about every hour. So,
Should be doing.
I don't know, is there any problem that anybody sees about doing a 50-foot buffer? No, smoking in 50 feet pool?
It's just the perimeter of it, yeah.
You just get the signs from the tennis courts all the way down past the volleyball.
We got the one sign that's right there, right?
Yes, it's on
And
the
people
pool.
would have to walk past that sign to get to the pool.
Oh, yeah.
So if it says no smoking within 50 foot of the fence, or,
It just says no smoking.
but I said we could change it to something
Okay.
that's of the perimeter of it. Would that be good enough to do it? To be able to at least say, hey, there's no smoking here.
We put a couple of signs down by the tennis courts and over here by the volleyball court. Just sort of covering with no smoking within, I'd say 100 foot
There's,
of this area.
Would it, well, I'm just talking about this, it's just saying something about it. Would it be better to change the signs to say no smoking in recreational areas, including tennis courts, pool, and volleyball courts, just to throw them out, or?
If they can play tennis smoking a cigarette, that will power to it.
You'd be surprised.
I'm just,
I mean, my father-in-law, rest his soul, he walked into my shop one day with a cigarette burning right there, walked in, what are you doing? He said, there's no smoking sign. It's not 1978, but there's some people that are still that way, so I think, just a sign would probably.
We got a couple of signs, just put them up.
Can cigarette butts ruin the tennis surface or anything?
Well, it wouldn't be good for it if it was burning when it hit it, I'm sure it could melt it.
Say 50 foot, to get it to the other side of the volleyball court too. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's just a big ashtray.
That's,
Yeah.
that's a 100 foot.
The other option would be to put one of
They
those
don't make
smokers,
it where they can't do it at all.
Why not?
put one of those smokers outposts down there by the garbage cans as the designated
Designated
smoking area.
smoking area.
Somebody's gotta clean that out, and, once a month sometime, but that's. This could be no smoking within 50 feet of the thing, and then there's the designated smoking area.
Well,
You go
If
both.
you're gonna do that, then you just put smoking designated area alone.
Then they're gonna wanna know what's designated.
We're
They
gonna
have to have
put
a
a sign,
sign.
put a sign designated smoking. area.
Designated area.
We can figure out the nomenclature.
Okay.
How about we say we're gonna do it and we let Parks and Rec figure out the logistics of it? Or we just wanna do something quicker?
We won't meet till the end of the month. And it's really a council decision at the end of the day, regardless for action.
Decide to do it, I get the signs made up.
You wanna do that,
And you won't have,
designated
to-
smoking
you won't
area?
have to pay for them. even though you
Thank
said you would.
Yeah, I say,
Put money where your mouth is.
put a designated smoking area, put the signs out, change the signs that say, add smoking in designated area only. And just make that happen. So that's you for signs,
I can get them done.
or is that?
Yeah, I'm good.
I
mean,
mean,
we'll-
we'll tomorrow, we'll get them done.
Yeah.
Can we have one in Max Garden?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, now they're gonna smoke it Max Fair.
And I'm afraid of that.
Well, they do already.
Well,
Go in and
but
pick
we're-
up the cigarette.
Yeah, but now we're
butts.
creating a designated smoking area with signs that say smoking only in the designated area. We could technically run them out of that garden at that point.
Who's gonna run them out?
Sure. Right, Jim, is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Jim has made a motion to create a
Smoking.
designated smoking area,
Smoking.
purchase a smoker's outpost to put there.
Yeah, and change the signs to say smoking in designated areas on the.
Smoking and vaping.
Yes.
They get obnoxious business.
Smoking and vaping, correct, yes. Smoking and vaping.
Jim has made a motion, Mark seconds. Any further discussion?
Yeah,
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
let Jennifer know who to make the check out.
And don't you be smoking.
Thank you very much. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you for
Have a good
coming here.
evening. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Mark, you seconded that?
It is, yeah, it is silent.
In your packet that came out, you had the June 11th, 2024 regular session. Tonight, I had the May 14th closed session minutes. There was a mistake found in those. So I will correct those and bring those back in June. Is there a motion to approve June 11th?
In August.
Is that too?
Motion to approve the June 11th regular session meeting minutes.
I'll second.
James made a motion, Bruce second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We also have the agenda. Any requested changes, additions, or deletions to the agenda? The latest version is sent out. Separate. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Jim, or Joe's made a motion, Jim seconds. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Public safety are statistics from the sheriff's office, 10 alarm activations, 71 calls for service, 258 preventative patrols, 52 traffic stops, and 58 other self-initiated calls. I'm not sure, I think Ryan's working.
Yes.
He may not know it's me, or he could be on calls.
He was driving up Lake Park when I was leaving my house,
She
so.
must be busy.
Any comments or questions or anything from the sheriff's?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
did we skip over item 6?
You missed the consent agenda.
Sure did. I didn't have a slide for it. I did have a slide for it. I got new glasses. I'll blame it on that. All right, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent as presented.
Jim's made motions, or second, Mark seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Finance officers report, Cheryl.
Okay, you have the June report, and this is the last month of the fiscal year. These numbers are very preliminary because we're moving from a cash to an accrual basis for the financial statements. So there will still be revenues accrued such as sales tax and the quarterly taxes that come in. And we hadn't gotten a few bills in, particularly the trash bill, and I'm sure there's a few others. During the month, I made a few budget amendments to clean up a few accounts that were gonna be slightly over. I moved $72 into bank charges and took the $72 from advertising. I put $15 into pool operations and took that from seasonal decorations. I put $60 in water sewer and took it from natural gas. I put $21 in street expense and took $21 from electric bills. I haven't seen the waste collection bill yet, but if it's the same as last month, we are gonna be over budget for the year. By about $500, I believe.
That's because their fee went up on their dump fee went up.
Yeah, the tipping fee from the county.
So we need to do 500.
Too late.
Too late, it is too late, isn't it? Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Okay.
Last month was the last chance to do all that. I do have a request for a budget amendment for the current year budget because Union County, as they have done in the last 1 or 2 years, they went and changed the amount that they're gonna charge us for the deputies. And it's gonna cost us an additional $6,064. So we need to appropriate fund balance and, as the revenue and put that in the law enforcement, I believe it's called, yeah, law enforcement line item, $6,064.
Is there a motion to appropriate $6,064 from fund balance?
Make the motion.
What's it-
Sheriff.
what's it
Bruce
called?
made a motion,
Enforcement.
Mark seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries.
I will point out one revenue account, the alcoholic beverage tax comes in once a year and it came in over budget, which is nice. It came in at 16,426 and we had budgeted 13,900. So that was nice to see.
You're welcome.
Joe does a lot of drinking.
So, go ahead, Sheriff, I'm sorry.
And as far as what, you probably are wondering what you think the bottom line will be for last year. You can see on the statements that we were at a net of 28,000, but we still have 3 months of sales tax to be received, which will be about 90,000. We have a quarterly tax to be received of the electric and gas and telecommunications. That's close to 30,000. And then we don't have the waste control, or I didn't have when I ran these, the waste collection bill, so that'll be minus 20. So it will be about 100,000 added to the 28. So we'll have a net income of about 128,000. Unless there's some other surprises that I'm not.
And that's income over revenue, so that's
Mhm.
new fund balance essentially.
Right. Mhm.
Any questions for Sheriff? Thank you. There's a resolution here that looks like it has to do with finance. Is that something?
That will depend on what you all decide with the engineer.
Okay, all right. All right, any other questions for Sheriff? Thank you, Sheriff. On these pond erosion stormwater.
Gentlemen, I ask you to bear with me as it's going to be a little out here. After going back and forth and reviewing the 3 bids that we had on Connie's Pond, we are recommending, Bruce and I are recommending that we use KC Site Concepts, the 34,000. So I would need a motion to approve to have the work done. We've met with Eagle multiple times out there at the site. We do not believe there's any damage to the spillway. So that was where we were last month because there was such a discrepancy in the repair of the spillway. So after having met with them several times and all, we feel confident in recommending KC site concepts.
What was the amount?
34,000.
Oh,
We brought it up to both Ray and Braxton from Eagle. And this is right after we had all that heavy rain. And the water was not underflowing the spillway. So I asked them flat out, I said, well, do you believe there's a problem with that spillway that needs to be addressed? And I think Ray said, not for at least 5 years, and Braxton said, probably longer than that. So the whole answer is, you don't have to worry about doing anything to the spillway.
Okay.
I threw that to
Oh, thanks.
Any questions?
So I do have a question. We, just say something here first. Is there any guarantee that how long that this will last for?
The last time we did work around Connie's Pond was 2007,
So it wasn't like
2007,
6 or 7.
yeah. So it's been 18, 20 years.
No, I just know that we've had some, I know we've had some little bit of issue with some of the things. There's that one gentleman that can't remember the pond off the top of my head that's buying some property. That
Churchill.
pond-
That's right,
Churchill Pond has some erosion or some stuff there. I don't know how long. That hasn't been too long.
Right, they're
they
supposed to be warranted with that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
might
I
not.
just, that's
They
why
were
I'm
supposed
asking
to
what's
put the
happening.
gravel, they were supposed to put gravel back in last week. Honestly, I've not been over there to see.
I just want to make sure that there's some type of warranty or something that's there, that's gonna last for a number of years that we don't have to go through.
I don't think there's gonna be a warranty per se, but it's just a matter of the riprap that's kind of slid into the water is gonna be pulled back, replenished as needed. 2 trees are gonna be taken down on the opposite side where that home is. You know, one is blocking the flow.
Outlet structure.
Yeah, obstruction.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, I only know, I'm coming from the northeast looking at, and they've never, retention ponds that have riprap around that, it's only been done once, and then the move, that's going through ice and water and everything else that's happening. Here, we're having some other problems, I know we're not, we don't have ice, but we have other things that happen out here, it's erosion, so. No, I'm just saying, why, I just want to make sure that we're spending the money appropriately, that we're not, everything's there, that's all I'm coming from, I just want to know.
Right, when you
Which is
figure
not right.
Connie's Pond hasn't had anything done to it basically at least 17 years.
Mhm.
Now, I'd say we're pretty well set. What's gonna be done with the riprap being reinforced, reset to a proper way. There shouldn't be any issues based on what we've had discussions with.
I don't know that any of the previous contractors have issued any type of warranty, but kind of in my mind, I have felt like, at least in that first year, because I know I brought up Reside and Foster did, there was, and they went out there and put more on it, and the same thing over here at Churchill Pond, I don't know if they would agree to a warranty, any of the vendors, they might, I don't know. One of the problems with stormwater pond is if you get some heavy rain or some 100-year flood that moves it around and there's really nothing that the contractor did wrong, it just washed it out. Then would anybody warranty it? You know what I'm saying? I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, there's way too many variables still to warranty something like that.
I mean, I think if there was an issue after the work was done, if something came up within the next, and I'll ask KC about it, He's been good up to now with any work he's done, if there's been any issues. He's come back and corrected.
And I'll say Foster has too.
Yeah.
Like I said, in my mind, I think it's at least a year. It ought to be, 10 years probably, but.
Yeah.
There are so many variables that do, so.
Yeah.
No, I know there's variables, and like I said, coming from the northeast where we have ice that, and snow and ice and everything that moves stuff, we've never had to go back and do anything, it's been solid. Don't know if it's the way the things are constructed between there and here,
A
knowing
lot of it's
that.
the soil, the red clay. And that clay makes a huge difference because you get into areas that start out fine and then you can be in bad dirt, you can be,
No,
so what compacts a lot of times, it's based on the soil.
Let's face it, up in the northeast, because I come from the northeast too, you got a lot more rock and hard soil than you have down here.
I understand that, I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
should that be then factored into making that so that those banks don't erode, it's done.
Basically, the riprap does stop the erosion, but still, as Sherry just said, with clay, things can shift.
Over time with big rains, it washes it
Yeah.
down, so a lot of that's gonna be, some's gonna be pulled up, there's gonna be new fabric installed.
What you're talking about is actually probably more of an engineering question than it is
Yeah.
a contractor question, because contractor's gonna do it to the engineer specs,
Specs,
so.
so. You're
That's
right.
probably more of where our trust is gonna be, is with the engineer than it is the contractor.
Speaking of that, Eagle, they're gonna be coming behind.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They're coming behind and look and
They
do
inspect
soil
everything as it
compaction
comes
test,
along.
and, yeah,
Yeah, they saved us on the, was it Normandy? No, Normandy,
Lake Charles.
Lake
Lake Charles that time.
Okay, I'm good.
No, understandable, I'll speak to Kevin anyhow, if we decide to award him a bid and see what he's gonna stand up to. I'm sure he's not gonna say, hey, you're on your own. He hasn't yet, so.
Mhm.
I think
All right, is there a motion to approve 34,000 for Connie Pond Erosion Casey site concept?
I'll make that motion.
Mark's made a motion. Bruce second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries. 3609 Christopher Drive.
Fun one.
We were notified. What we thought was, well, what we were hoping was Ripple, was not. And so we went out and this is one that they cameraed, that Eagle cameraed for us so that we could see where it was collapsing. And this particular pipe has multiple places and they have provided the images for us. So we'll have to go in and replace the pipe there and then do a soil compaction and close up the hole.
Basically, if I can read from the estimate, evacuate the sinkhole area and observe, that's all around where the pole is now, which I gotta tell you is almost 6 foot deep. All right. For two concrete collars around the failing joints, patch inside joints with hydraulic cement, or concrete flume from southwest edge and around drain, backfill seed and straw. And if there's any bad earth, we'll take that away, bad dirt, I should say, and put it fresh.
That was gonna be my next question, is have you learned that yet, whether we're gonna run into bad,
You don't
And
know.
soil
You
till-
don't know until you start, the same as we ran.
but that covers it if we run into it.
Yeah.
Yes.
His recommendations, Casey site concept, $9,800. Yes, is there a motion to approve that?
Most improvement at $800 to fix the hole at 3609 Christopher Drive.
Jim's made a motion, is there a second. Mark seconds, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries.
One thing, if I may interject, this is another area we're gonna talk about shortly. Christopher. Where these, I was talking with Kevin earlier, after he went out with the other one, we haven't talked about it yet. It's probably gonna be a good idea to get some stakes and put them around these areas and caution tape. Is just a case in point. this thing looks great, like you can see it. If you're a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 10-year-old kid walking along and you don't notice it, guess where you're going? You're going 6 foot in the hole, and if there's nobody with you. But I think it's important that we start marking off these areas. Have to get some stakes. Stake. Even if I go out and do it myself, I don't care. You know? Everybody's in agreement.
No, I think it's good, I think it should be, I've not been over there to look at that, I didn't realize it's.
It's ugly.
It is.
I'm telling you, you could step right in that thing, even an adult could step in it, if nothing else, it could sprain and or break a leg.
Well, even the little one over on Frost Court, that
Yeah,
Lori stepped
Lori
in,
stepped in that.
that's her ankle up, so.
It's probably not gonna be a bad idea. These things are popping up left and right.
oh, man.
For us to be proactive and start checking around, all of the storm drain basin areas, and see what's going on there.
If
Two
necessary.
hundred and 68 of them.
I would fence it. I would fence it. I would not stake it.
What would you do?
Fence it.
Well, that's a little more difficult, you gotta get a lot of plastic fence to put around.
Well, how big is that hole? It doesn't-
Hopefully, he's gonna get on this hole here,
Yeah.
correct?
Oh, yeah, I'll speak with him.
Once we get approved.
This hole is only, it's about as wide around as I am wide. No comments.
It's not-
So I think the stakes and taking a caution will be mindful of most everybody, including children. I would like to think.
What's interesting is most of these have not been reported.
Yeah.
We found them other ways.
All right.
So then the next item that you have up there is Mother Teresa and Ginger. Bruce, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, okay, it's another fun one. What you're seeing is how the pipe is separating, okay? What's happening is on Mother Teresa and Ginger, it's gonna be hopefully no more than a day and a half to take care of that. Because that's a dead end cul-de-sac on Ginger. You just have to inform folks they're gonna have to park
Around.
outside around the park there for one day. And it's basically the same thing. The pipe is separating. So it's gonna be dug up. Either try to put it back together or have to replace, which you really don't know. He's got it listed here as. No, my church wrong, my apologies. Gonna have to remove and replace the curb. You got the RCP and replace with 15-inch HP pipe. RCP is, I forget what you have to call that. But it's part of the concrete pipe. Then we'll replace 2 curb inlets, excuse me. All dirt will be removed and replaced with ADC because that's a more coarse product and not have a tendency to sag because it is a road. That's what you want to do. And remove overlay asphalt, re-asphalt that section. So people will definitely get out of that area for at least a day, if not a day and a half. And the biggest thing is you want to be able to do it when the weather is working with you. Which lately it's been working because you don't get a heck of a lot of rain. The other one, go ahead.
We'll be notifying the residents,
Yes,
going door to door, putting a note on their door that they're gonna have to be unfortunately inconvenienced for, we're gonna say 48 hours.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna fuss if we can get done sooner. But, and unfortunately, there's just not anywhere for them to go out the back.
go ahead.
These landing failures, are they basically where the 2 pipes are put together, the
Correct.
sleeve itself?
The joints, they separate.
Yeah, and how long are the pipes generally speaking? Probably vary, but
They vary, they're average about, I'd say 6 foot. Sometimes
6 to
less,
8.
depending on.
we have a lot of seams throughout Lakewood.
Well, the first one you saw was over here on Craft, that we did last year. That was ugly.
Cheryl, how much did we budget in stormwater?
Okay, yeah, I'm getting ready to jump into the middle of it. We budgeted $78,535 for repair and maintenance, so that'll provide enough for the first three things that, including this one that you talked about, but the next one, we're gonna get into the area of budget amendments. The other thing is, how much is the engineering gonna be for like the first three? We only have 10,000 budgeted for engineering.
We're at about 8
For what? The first three?
Engineering.
for all of them.
For all of them? Okay. And we're okay with engineering.
This next one, Carolyn Cortland.
We
Wait a
wanna-
minute.
Is there a motion to approve the Mother Teresa and Ginger repair, $28,500?
Motion to approve.
Jim's made motions, Mark seconds, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Next one, Carolyn Cortland, that's a real mess. What you got, you got a storm drain and a storm drain, and it comes across to one. All of that is starting to fail. That's just one picture of it. It's starting to crack, you can see along the top how it's cracking. There's a lot of weight that comes through there with trucks and what have you, delivery trucks, et cetera. That's gonna have to be dug up. It's gonna close that road for probably a week. Not gonna be open in the back end. Carol, Cortland,
Has been completely shut out the back.
Yes.
exactly, it has to be, there's no two ways about it. And the only ones that will really be able to get in on Portland are local residents.
Cortland and
Yeah,
Carroll.
cul-de-sac. But,
If we're coming in from Third Avenue,
You can't.
you can't,
well,
Can't get to it.
hold on, let me finish my question here. If we come in there and we get to, are we talking to the right or to the left? Talking to the right? Where's the pipe on?
on
The
both
pipe,
sides.
just as you come, you know where the house that sits right outside of Lake Park,
Mhm.
where their driveway is?
Mhm.
The road will be closed from there to the intersection of Carroll and
Okay.
Cortland.
Cortland, sorry. So it'll be, that's where it'll be closed. So therefore, the people on Cortland and Carroll cul-de-sac will have to go out
The front
Front
end.
front entrance. Everyone will have to use the front entrance for the week.
So everybody that lives in Lake Park has access to get to their house and out.
Yeah. they just-
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yes.
I didn't know if the other side of Cortland would have a problem. Like, once I had to go out that entrance and the other way. That's what I was-
I already talked with Ray at Eagle and they'll provide us with additional roadblocks, road forces, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah,
So people
barricades.
will know they can't come through. But,
and then we'll have to educate people when we get ready to close that it won't happen.
It's the over and under of cars running into the horses.
They'll be in a hole.
well, all I can say is I hope they know a good towing company. Anyhow,
And that's 67,500.
And for that one, you'll need to do a budget amendment and then approve the expenditure.
Yeah. And this is just my thoughts. I feel like with what we know we're faced with, there's another situation on Christopher that was found yesterday
right,
that we haven't even cambered yet. I think we move at least $100,000 into the stormwater, if not 150, to have that money moved and
that's the one I was speaking of this before, I said we haven't talked about it yet. Kevin went over and walked it towards the back, and the soil is all spongy. It was like sinking into the soil, so we don't know the extent of that until it is cambered.
And this is not even touching Christopher Channel's discussion,
No, that's another
which
discussion.
is next month, but
Well, before we do that, then I'll make the motion to move 150,000 from fund balance to stormwater.
Joe's made motions, or second.
Say,
We also,
Mark seconds it. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And then now the expense. There a motion to approve 67,500. Jim has made that motion. Is there a second?
go ahead, so
All in favor? Mark seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
I feel funny making the motion for second because I'm.
Okay, Jim, and who
involved in it.
seconded it?
This one was just pennies.
Then Joe,
You get that out of petty cash.
you moved 150 from fund balance to stormwater, and who
Right.
seconded that one?
Jim seconded.
Somebody did, not me.
Everybody did. it's gonna be any greater.
All
And,
right,
and like we're saying, this is only the tip of the iceberg. It's just so much that's gonna be happening.
all right. Then,
This one I'm not that familiar with, this head wall and inlet issue. You've been handling that
Yes.
more than I have.
so the head wall is cracked. And we know that as you see that hole behind the head wall is where the pipe has failed. And Foster Lake and Pond has given us a price to repair that of $3,500. And so,
It's nothing.
yeah, that's an easy fix.
Are they still Foster?
Yes,
Actually,
they go by Foster Lake and
For
Pond
that,
for
okay.
that.
Right.
So that's on Sage's Pond, so I need a motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion since I wasn't involved.
Bruce has made a motion to approve
Well, there you go.
$3,500. Jim has seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And the next one
Hoover Drive.
is Hoover. And I actually found this one on just walking around. And so best case scenario, it's $6,800. Worst case scenario, it's $11,800. The rate we're going, we probably ought to approve the $11,800.
Right.
Believe me, the money will be in the bank.
I also talked with Kevin about that this afternoon. And the reason he's got the 2, the 11.8 being the worst case scenario because it's sagging
Mhm.
once again. So where exactly we're gonna be, hopefully the lesson, better to have it estimated for the maximum.
Is there a motion to approve $11,800 for the Hoover Drive Central Fund?
Wendy's got a listing coming up on Hoover, so I'll make that motion.
Mark has made a motion. Is there a second?
No second, as long as Wendy doesn't list the house.
Bruce seconds. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The only other thing, well, 2 other things that I need to mention. I do need approval for up to $8,000 for what we're spending in engineering.
Is there a motion to approve up to 8,000? Bruce has made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Joe, second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. You want me to talk about, Mr. Jonathan Rousseau is a resident here in Lake Park. He lives over on St. Joseph on the pond side. But he is a stormwater engineer. And I approached him based upon a conversation last month from council about doing a project for the village and looking at Christopher Channel. And so I have requested from Eagle the electronic versions of the plans that I have from the original work done on the Christopher Channel. And John came back and said, I would like to donate to the vision 8 hours of my time, which I think that's about what this project would take to give you all an opportunity to see how I work and everything, because we've been with Eagle a long time. And then after 8 hours, if we were to get into more than that, he charges $155 an hour, which is the going rate at Eagle for that level of engineer that John is. And I've also met with the 3 people, KC Site Concepts, Foster Lake and Pond, and B&N Grading concerning the channel. And they would all be interested in bidding on the project. Because we're looking at, we may be doing some concrete a section, do some riprap to slow it down, concrete another. I don't know, or we may concrete the whole thing. I don't know what the right answer is at this point. But a ballpark in general, I think you're looking at about $100,000 repair. So with that said, that's why I've been working on getting bidders. Just, making sure that that's a lot of money. If you all want to use Rousseau Engineering, I've put in your packets the resolution that exempts us based upon the general statute that we would also need to approve this evening. If you decide that you do not want to use John and you want to stay with Eagle, then we would not need the resolution, and I'll have to ask Eagle what they're gonna charge me to do the engineering. So I need a little direction from you.
I think it's a great idea to try somebody else. I know you've had a lot of frustration with them over the years of getting back to you within a certain time. We did work on this channel not too long ago under Eagles,
We did.
recommendations, and we're back doing it again. So somebody that's offering 8 hours of time.
And this whole situation, in a sense, goes back to what Jim had mentioned earlier about the ponds. Spent quite a bit of money on this in the past on Christopher.
We've
And-
spent over $60,000 on
Yes.
this channel since
If you walk it,
2017.
if you walk it, you're like, you did something here? That's how undone it looks. And what's overgrown, what's not flowing, the water standing, stagnant water, which get the good bugs and mosquitoes, et cetera, so. This time around, we're looking to get a permanent fix on something like this. That's not a pond, that's a channel where water should flow all the way down in the direction it should be ending up in. And we had talked about the same thing about getting somebody else, engineer-wise, check this out, to get another view, fresh view.
You haven't had opportunity, I don't think you should pass that up at all.
I agree.
Anyway, so I'll put a motion out to adopt the resolution as presented in order to hire Roosevelt Engineering for rebuilding this channel.
I'll second it definitely.
Here's made a motion, Bruce second, any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Do you want to make a motion to authorize, in case they go over the 8 hours, how many hours are you appropriating? In case they need more hours for this project?
I would say he's gonna do it, he's gonna draft plans. to Start with, correct, to what the work that he needs to do. And then from there, once he drafts the plans, from there, he's gonna understand where it is and she come back and say, we need an extra 5 hours or whatever.
Well, the only problem with that is next month is August.
Mhm.
And we really and truly, August, early September is usually our driest time.
Mhm.
So we don't want him to start and then us not have any money. If he goes over a couple hours to finish it, so that I can get those bids, because in a perfect world, I really need to be at council with those bids in August, so we can get that work done between then and September.
Okay, so
3 hours enough, or?
I would say, I'm sorry, Jim. Could it be more than 8 additional hours at 155 is only $1,240, so maybe we set aside another 1,500?
Well, we have 2,000 left in engineering, but, 2,000 isn't a whole lot, but
No, it
yeah.
isn't.
But if you could authorize up to 5 more hours if that's what you're talking about.
So, just a question. He said he's estimated at 8 hours total.
Mhm.
Is that 8 hours for him to design what needs to be done, or is that also 8 hours including the work that he's going to oversee?
It's 8 hours at this point, and it just depends on how long it takes him to design.
Yeah, he's in the
So it's
design
not
phase.
total, it's 8 hours, and
It's
he
just-
believes it's gonna be for design phase, okay,
Yeah.
that's my question.
Okay.
We said total, I'm looking at it,
Okay,
it's gonna take him 4 or 5
Yeah,
hours to
and-
do that, and his other time
yeah,
overseeing.
we just don't know. Yeah, if he does it in less time, then we bank 3 hours for him to be observing and making sure that it's done correctly and doing the compaction
I don't
test.
have a problem with putting out another 8 hours for,
Right.
you know, for overage. Not to hold up the project.
Can we cover another
It's
8
also
hours?
getting them to do the
Yeah, we
project.
Somebody
have
said 5, that's right.
No, 8 hours is fine.
Whatever that math is, somebody know it right quick.
Bruce is on it.
We'll do that again. $440. Yeah,
It's how much?
$1240.
12
So shit, 440.
That's what I thought.
All right, so you
12
want to amend your motion to also approve up
Up to $1,240 for an extra 8 hours of engineering time to make sure the estimate's completed. Engineering work is completed.
to, Bruce, you okay with the amendment?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Everybody that voted over? Yeah. Can you just work that in?
Mhm.
Jim made the motions, after he seconded, it, cool.
That's what we just did.
Oh, we
We
did.
just amended it, we just amended the motion, y'all.
Kind of unofficially.
I'd like to make a comment. I remember the Christopher Channel work. It took a long time. It was really worked on. But since that time, we have had Hurricane Florence. And I think several of you were here. But I flew in that day. My grandson picked me up. We could not get in Lake Park. Water was backed up to the first commercial buildings on, I call it Walmart Road. That road's got a ridiculous name, it's too long.
A neutral union bill.
That much water moving out of here. Water is the most powerful force there is next to the hurricanes. I mean, it'll move rocks. Nobody's gonna guarantee this stuff. They can't.
I think you're right.
I just think it's hard to criticize the quality of the work that was done prior when you've had events like that since. I don't even know who's running the company.
One of the, not to belabor it, but since the last repair at Christopher Channel, we've not had a 100-year event, and it's not held up like it probably should have. It's not held up like I think we thought it would. That's probably a better compliment.
I agree.
It might have held up the best it could. I don't know that it did, but
It's-
yeah. Moving water is detrimental to anything it's on.
And it looks like we're gonna be having more and more things are happening.
Park and Recreation update, the 2024 pool season financials. This is through our last Park and Rec meeting, 129 in memberships, with 282 various types of memberships, and then $9,923 in walk-up. And I think last weekend was almost another record weekend. It's not even included, it's over $2,000, so a lot of people coming to the pool. Our Independence Day celebration went over very well. Obviously, congratulations to Lori for being our hometown hero. I'd like to thank Joe for sticking out there with me all day long from start to finish. Mark, appreciate your offers. I know everybody has things going. But it was a great event. We were a little worried early on because it was so hot. There was about 20 people there. And I thought, boy, this is not gonna be, it's just too hot for people to come. But we ended up with several hundred. I mean, we had 15, 20 hot dogs left. We gave out 50 more ice creams than we budgeted for. So it was a lot of people. So good event.
Kids had a lot of fun.
They did. The watermelon rolling contest is, they did great. Our next meeting is July 22nd, and nothing specific coming up that I know of in our meetings. Planning board did not meet in June, so there's no report there. Waste collection, Jim, any general service updates?
Nothing, the waste pro will be out this Thursday, replacing bins with carts, picking up recycling And there's only been a couple of people that I know of right now that are saying they don't want, they know that trash is not there, recycling is not gonna be picked up and down. Beyond that, we would- haven't heard anything about the condos yet, not so heard a word over that process.
Sheree, anything you got? Waste collection.
The only thing I have is I sent them, I do not have a copy of the bond. And I want to make sure that we have that bond. So I sent to Melinda today and said, I need that performance bond. And it may be in the mail. I don't know, but, so I followed up on that.
That's it, thank you. Streets and sidewalks, Bruce?
Fun times. We had 34 sidewalk panels replaced. And then the storm culverts, as I call them, or the gutters, we replaced quite a few, which added up to 80 linear feet because they were cracked, dropped, sunk. One interesting notation, Sheree had pointed out one sidewalk panel across the little bridge on Faith Church Road. And then I noticed that the wall and the sidewalk were separated. So what's happening is the wall is pulling away from the sidewalk. So in order to try to slow that down, sooner or later, it's going to become an issue, hopefully later and not sooner. We already checked, it's not DOT's responsibility, it's ours. So what I had Casey Concept do was put in poured concrete in that, between that whole seam out, which is about almost 2 inches wide, and pour in concrete, which will slow the erosion of the wall pushing away. You can even see where there's a couple of cracks on the wall where it's starting to separate. So the other side is fine, but this side, for some reason, it's separating. Let's just hope that, we put in hydraulic cement, which does grip and hold. So let's hope that does the trick.
Joe?
All right, street lights. Last month I had 13 lights that were out that I reported. Most of them were fixed. One of the ones up here at the corner's got a wiring issue that's gonna have to take care of, works when it wants to. So we got that. I've been trying to get updates from Brad on the poles of how they're doing. They've been through and shimmed a lot of them. And ones I've seen are much better.
But the ones that you.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with that, so they might have been able to save us some money on that part of it. We're still waiting for something with the light that was damaged by Waste Pro. Brad's going it in a way that he's trying to think the best thing for us to save money on. It's kind of, we don't care. We want it fixed.
We want a light.
Yeah, we want it fixed right, not trying to fit something to retrofit or something here. It's not our responsibility, it's Waste Pro's. They've already admitted to it, so we're still in the middle of that one, but they did, it removed the light that was there, which is good, because it was bad. So got that. Clock tower, I had a fix, well, I had what I thought was gonna be a fix, it didn't work. It's, going from this building to that clock tower doesn't seem far, and it's not really far, but that's a brick building, obviously, and it's just wireless is not working on that. So the actual unit for the chimes is still inside and works great that way, and hasn't really been an issue. It gets pretty hot up in there, but it hasn't been an issue with anything, so it's working okay. But I still would like to get it back in here. For example, when we have to, the clock gets off on that. A couple minutes a week or a couple minutes a month, excuse me. So it has to be adjusted. To adjust it or change anything now, I can get out there, take the ladder, open the trap door, go up in there, make the adjustments, come back out. It's not very convenient. So I'm still working at something with that. My brother-in-law works for Piedmont Natural Gas, and he's going to find a time when he's on call and has his locator, and we're going to try to trace this wire down. Hopefully we can find where the wire has been compromised. And it's our hope that it is from somewhere from the curb out here to the building. Maybe when they were doing the landscaping work out here, they nicked it, and over time the corrosion got to the wire and damaged it there. If we can find it there and fix it, our problems are solved. I doubt we're that lucky, but I'm hoping that's our next thing we're gonna go for. So this is strike 1 and 2, so we're at strike 3. We'll see how this is. Go from there.
Orders review.
Ordinance review is going to be meeting, next Monday. We got a lot of comments for different types of parking issues, of changing what's going on with parking. We've got, especially this time of year, people are pulling their RVs out of the storage, taking it to their house, loading it up to go on vacation. Some places, some people have big enough driveways they can pull it into, it's not a problem. Other people have larger roads they can pull into. Some people live on, roads, Mimosa was one of them that had an issue where there's no way to do anything but have it right there in front of the house. And our deputy stopped by and talked to the person, and, he didn't really complain, but brought it up to Jeremy. So we're gonna think about adding something into it where an RV can be parked for loading and unloading purposes only. So that's something that we're gonna add into the ordinances. And again, everything's online with it and searchable. Any questions that come out, please familiarize yourself with them. It's, did a lot of work on it. It's really easy to work with. It's got a lot of good information. And technology, virtual assistant update. We moved to a new level. I'm just gonna put both these together, Ring Central and that. We moved to a new level with Cherie. We got the app on her phone, and Cherie can now call you from wherever she is, and you think she's here. Worked great. Lori was here for the HOA meeting, trying to call Cherie. She didn't answer, and then she called her back and said, I don't know where she was. We were here in the room, and she called back and it said she was calling from the village. So it works off of her phone. It's worked great for her on her remote days. I think this whole thing has really worked well. And it's helped their efficiency in the office a lot. It's helped stay in communication with Cherie. I will like to remind everybody to check their voicemails. If they're not, it should be emailing them to you. Did you ever find your emails on that?
We're gonna send them. We never did.
Well, yeah, we haven't.
I figured I'm a little busy, so.
Yeah, just a little bit, but they should still be, even if you're not checking your voicemails, they should be coming to
They don't come to.
they're not coming to your email either? Okay, I'll do that. I know they're working on mine, they're working on yours.
That's working.
Okay, so,
I'll leave myself a message.
yeah, leave it, check and see, and if not, let me know, and I'll get on that this week.
Please.
Get your stuff.
I know you've got a lot on your plate, so that's why.
If you haven't gone in there and changed your message, it's gonna say, it's gonna be a generic message. It's gonna say, you've reached the voicemail of Mark Richards. Please leave a message. So you can go in there and change it to everything, and I'll help anybody with that needs it.
Oh.
Like it.
Yeah.
So, but it's worked out. I think this has been a very good addition for the village. It's worked out very well and increased efficiency a lot.
There was nothing new. Sri had nothing new to report from the landings, and she asked me if we could remove Ripple because that's ship and sale is active and running, so we're good with that. If there are still some things that come about with your complaints of issues from the construction, please just get those to Sheree and she can get them over to the gentleman that are in charge of it. Item C, under special projects discussion, social media best practices. This comes from a collage of information and comments from several members on this. Not really any one person, but several members who have offered up their opinions. And I don't know what opinions are right or wrong. I've not been to the class. Mark, you took that class. But so I just wanted to go over a few things, have an open discussion about it, and please pipe in when you're ready. Because I don't want this to escalate, not that we're anywhere near it, to the situation that's going on in Indian Trail. I mean, they've got two councilmen that are absolutely going at each other on the open platforms. I mean, and it's unbelievable. So, not that we're nowhere near that, but just some general thoughts and discussion points that I was asked to bring up here. So I would just remind you, elected officials do have your First Amendment right, but you've got to remember, are you responding as an official? You may be doing so unknowingly. It's my understanding that if your personal Facebook page identifies you as an official, then anything you say on that page can be construed as an official response, not necessarily just you as your First Amendment right thing. And I'm not trying to shut anybody down from talking. I don't think anybody is. I just want to make sure we all understand, or we get to an understanding of the best practices to have for us. the unofficial pages, David's page and Mark's pages, and official business. So I guess what's meant there is we gotta be careful on, are we conducting official business on the unofficial pages as ourselves or as our elected position point? And I don't know that there's anything wrong with this, and I guess one, example would be the garbage, the waste post. You know, Mark Post is waste night and has the guidelines on there.
Yeah, I posted that today, and I was gonna put them on the other site, just wanted to
Sure.
see how it was. And there were a lot of legitimate questions there. I answered them as though I was in an official capacity. I mean, I didn't say I was, but I used that approach to it.
One of the things that came up today, and I was talking with Joe about this, so the village official page is now a member of Mark's page. Right. So the village itself can post to Mark's page. So the question is, should, and Mark's has the ability to post on that page. Should those kind of posts only come through the official village page to the unofficial pages and the responses? It's a question and part of the discussion.
The first thing that I think that needs to be, well, we gotta discuss whether we're going to, change the village, policy on social media. And, you know, how we're gonna do it, what we're gonna do up to that point. I personally think the official page should be an information only page. Now, I know I put a post on it for fireworks. And it got these responses, and nobody liked it, but, you know, it was our statement of what we are, you know, what's legal and, you know, what to do. Now, I wanted to cut off comments on it, because I just didn't think it was I didn't think anybody could comment anything useful on it. And I did cut off comments on it. I told Jeremy I cut it off comments. And he
But
told
if
me,
you cut off comments on the official page, you
yes,
have to cut it off before there's any comments.
right,
Yeah.
correct. You gotta do that, and you can, the only way you can cut off comments,
Is to post it and click it.
yeah, and there's, I forget what the term was you have to use on it, you know, members or who have not responded or something like that, and once they do, you're right, they can still do that. Now, I did that from the start on it, I told Jeremy about it, Jeremy says, I don't think we can do that, because it's a public platform. But
We were gonna ask you that tonight.
so we were gonna ask you about that, to whether we can do that. For the majority of posts on there, there's nothing that can be, no comment can be useful out of it. You know,
So you wanna know if you can do exactly what?
if we can make a post on the official page for information, but not have it where it's turned off where nobody can comment on that
Yeah.
post.
You can do that.
I think that most of the posts should really be that way on that page, and it should be an information post.
So Ken, you're saying you can do it with no comments as long as nobody's commented?
Right, I mean, I think you can, yeah, I mean, well, as long as nobody's commented, I mean, is there not some way to have that?
You gotta post it and then you can go in and
Post it
edit.
before you can't control all of that from the onset.
You
And
can.
it is, there aren't responses allowed to any post that's made.
I think we
Because the
can.
posting is
Go into
limited
it.
to the official, and then I guess the question starts to become, as I'm listening to you, who gets to speak officially for the village in those respects?
I mean, that's another piece of it, but I would say this, and I, of course, quantify this, because I'm not an attorney whatsoever, but
You may be
when I was telling Joe that I didn't think we could, is because when I read the school government guidelines, it talks about if the page was created as an official platform for the village, then you can't limit this, it's an official deal, so you can't limit comments to it. You can't say, here's what it is, and you can't. Now, if it was created for some other reason, you read that thing I sent you, I don't remember what it said.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't find there to be a problem as long as you are not piecemealing what's gonna be available for comment and what's not.
You certainly can't edit them out.
Right, you certainly can't do that, that's right. But as Joe's saying, if it's meant for simply informational provision, I don't see the problem with that. I can look into it more related to that, but what I see the problem with is how you don't have an umbrella of control where every post that's made doesn't get any opportunity to comment on it? Is there not a way to have that kind of?
I think you gotta do it per post, each post. you have to-
I think it's
don't
each
there's a
post,
setting.
and you can't do that until after you posted it. If I remember correctly from that class I took, that you can make it no comment, but you must do that before a comment is made. If anybody makes a comment, then everybody's allowed to make. a comment.
Right, and that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, it does, it makes sense, which makes us both right.
I mean, There's
You
nothing
know,
more
which
than
is
a
as long
public
as
service
you're
announcement.
restricting comment from the onset, then you're good, but if you get a comment, sorry, you gotta leave it open. Which you would, I guess, perhaps want some understanding amongst your council people that anytime they're posting from the official site, they're to, you know, make every effort to as effectively and expeditiously as possible, deem it a no commentable post. But again, you're still not addressing the part that we just agreed. Who is it that's the official?
So the three officials, I've got access, Joe does, and Mark does. Now, here's what I'm telling council, council owns that page. So council you can just decide who.
I don't post very much on that. The only post I've done is that, and I post it when the videos are available, is the only thing I posted on that. Now, when I posted the fireworks thing the other day, I ran it by you first, and I'm wondering if that's not a bad policy that we have, that at least one other person, agrees with it. So that when you put something on there.
I'm confused here, but if you're saying that you want to post it for information only, and you want to eliminate comments, could you not add a statement of, any replies or comments to this can be made on this other Facebook that you want to,
No, you don't want to engage it.
you don't want to, you just don't want them to stir up a kettle of
Any
something that
questions
you
or
can't
comments
stop.
from the
Maybe
officer
it
you're
starts a
representing.
kettle of comments, but that has to be done independently on one of the other
Yeah.
pages by somebody who's not a council person.
Well,
So, if you, my understanding, and again, I'm not a
they get
lawyer,
ugly.
and you can interpret things differently. My understanding is, yes, you can make it all, it's either all or none. You can't pick and post, because if you say you can comment on this, but you can't comment on that, you're violating someone's First Amendment right. So it's all, you can comment at all, or you cannot.
But it
comment on
doesn't
all
sound
posts.
like the platform offers the capability of what you're suggesting. It sounds like the platform only allows for turning off the comment aspect after you've already posted. All right? Do I have that right?
After it's posted, you can turn it off. I haven't been able to figure out, that's not saying it's not, I mean, it's a different world. I mean, Mark and Jeremy will tell you, when you get onto the village page, the way you have to edit that and work with that is a different world than just regular Facebook posts.
It is, yeah.
And
it's-
things are different places, different setup, and they want you to buy stuff.
Yeah, and it's
Is-
very mundane the way you
Mhm.
make a post.
So it's
regular,
The,
words.
it may be worth one of you guys reaching out to Abby Ball at Indian Trail, because that's what she does all day for them in general.
And since they're apparently having
And-
control, that might be
Yeah.
a good resource.
But Abby, they live over here at the
Lives.
corner of Cortland and Carroll. And she's been able to direct me or offer some suggestions on several.
Yeah,
things.
I contacted, or she
Mhm.
contacted me not too long ago, I forget what it was about, but it was kind of like, to make it known to Lake Park that.
Something in the parks or something. was
Yeah, it was
going
something
on.
about, well, it was the fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, the fireworks at Crooked Creek Park,
Right.
that's what it was. And to make it known to Lake Park that Crooked Creek is doing it tonight, because they got a lot of complaints last time, because you could hear the Crooked Creek fireworks here. So, yeah, I worked with her on that to make sure that was spread out.
So maybe one of you might want to reach out to Abby and I'll be glad to get her contact information for you, but she would be a good source for you to ask some questions. Maybe she could tell you how she posts on the late,
To be
Indian
honest
Trail.
with you, I
I
don't know
don't
that I've
know.
ever gone to their page, but I will look at their page and
We
look
can see
into it,
how-
and maybe come up with some questions for her.
Yeah,
So we want to do that too, Mark, and we'll we can all look and see what she's been doing and how they've been doing it. We can ask them if they're doing it. She's willing to help us. We can tell her we're gonna shut down our road. Can you help us with this?
One other thing, we were, if you go down the road saying, hey, no comments on the official site. The comments then get put on, we're a party, so that we're a member of the Facebook page, so those things get put over. And comments come onto that site. If it's about official business, you can't delete any comment.
Right.
And you can't stop anyone from commenting on that.
You can if it's offensive.
You can if
or
it's completely.
There's a couple of rules
There's
of
a
why
couple
you
rules
can.
in there, but.
If it violates the guidelines, then you can, but you're right, for the most part, you can't. That's why Mark was saying it's so important to shut that off
Right,
before there's anything
but
said.
I mean, even in the unofficial side, you can't. delete
Well, if it has to do with village business, it's
Right.
something, yes, and that's where there's such a fine line on that. And I think we've strayed away a lot from it. That's where we gotta work on.
I don't know that there's, have there been any problem with comments on the official page?
I don't think there's been many, it's the least commented of all the pages. And, people get on it and, like I said, the particular one that I was going to turn it off was, I knew that there wasn't going to be anything on my post about fireworks being illegal that was going to be useful. Okay, I mean, we all know what was gonna happen, but we had to put our official stance out there of what's what.
I
with
think
it.
that was good.
And, and put that out there and just let everybody know what is legal, what's not legal, and, be safe and keep kids away and all that kind of stuff. So, with that being said, I thought it was a good idea to do that. Now, if you have to do it on all of them or not, we'll have to look into that to see what we're gonna do on that. And I don't know that we're ever gonna come up with an answer on everything and all this stuff tonight, but that's
Right.
definitely something to look into, that we might wanna work on the policy, that we have to adjust in the policy, but.
Well, the first step might be contacting that lady over in the trail
Yeah, absolutely.
before we even try to drop a hammer on any of this.
Another thing that's been brought up is the names of the unofficial pages, and I know that this was talked about a year ago
Yeah.
or longer. I think the question that's raised is there some confusion? For instance, so Mark's unofficial page, the name of it is Village of Lake Park, Common, North Carolina.
Right.
David's is just Lake Park, Common, North Carolina. NC and what's not spelled out, there's no C there. So one of the things that was brought up is, do those names need to be something that clearly identifies them as, this is not the village page, this is whatever, Mark and Wendy's Lake Park.
Well, yeah, if you change the name, basically, I'm losing everybody. You really, you'll get if you change the name, it goes out as something messenger, I think, to where this is the new page, if you want to be a member, click here or whatever. So I put in the header, the quote, best, unquote, unofficial Facebook, Lake Park Facebook page, to distinguish it from David's. But his is, he allows everybody on, basically,
This is just become ads.
but his is just
It's
basically
just
a bunch of
become ads.
business advertising.
Yeah, all that, yeah.
David's doesn't say it's an unofficial page.
No, it doesn't.
It just is.
It's open to the public and
And
if you
think,
wanna find somebody to clean your vents, it's a great place to go.
but I think it should be listed similar to what Mark had done in saying it's an unofficial page. Just to protect our brand of the Village of Lake Park.
I didn't realize with Mark, I didn't realize that if you changed the name of it, that it would come up. Where people that were members of it would have to agree to stay on member, you said?
Yeah, somehow there's a twist in there. Then the other thing, I could, and I should, change it to where when somebody asks to be on the page, I have this thing, you gotta show me an ad, tell me what your address is, blah, blah, blah. I can also put down, just a disclaimer, this is an unofficial thing, just to show them. So anybody that's joining new will get that right off the bat.
There's several other pages that are not even listed there. There's What's Up Lake Park exists, there's photos of Lake Park. There's maybe two different What's Up
There's a few
Lake
different
Park,
ones, yeah.
the way it's, WHAT''S and then WHAT no apostrophe S Lake Park, that the people have started. And I don't think there's anything you can do about people starting.
No.
I don't think we can demand you change the name of your page. I don't think that we can. But it was just, that's just a bullet point that was brought up, were the names and how they should be.
Vigilant to just make sure all the council members know which ones are not. And to be vigilant about trying to not necessarily comment much.
The next bullet point of responses to the community, that has to do with, say they're on Mark's page and so somebody says, I don't know, this is a terrible example, but what time does town hall close today? Well, that's a pretty mundane answer. You could just, somebody says 4 o'clock or 2 o'clock, whatever time.
Yeah.
The question raised is are you, back to is it official business or not? But I think the meaning of this is when it gets deeper than that and it gets into, somebody wants they report a sidewalk, because they come to your page and say, there's a sidewalk broke with a picture of it, and my front porch is flooding. And then you say, Bruce Barton, you tag Bruce and say, Bruce Barton, fixes the sidewalk. Well, question is are we are we doing business? Should there be just canned responses that say, this is a sidewalk issue, please contact Bruce Barton at blah, 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 and don't engage in any further?
I think anything, and Mark, I apologize if I'm beating up on you on this, but you're the one that posts on everything. You've done a great job of keeping the community together, so. But I think that way too much business is being done incorrectly on Facebook by a lot of us. And some of it, I think, to be honest with you, some of it is some of the people that, I've done it myself. We like getting likes, okay? It's nice, you post it out there, everybody wants to get it. I had a post on one thing that I wanted to get out, I just did it anonymous so that it wouldn't be anything. Because I just didn't, want it to draw anything. But the fact is that we're doing way too much business the wrong way on Facebook, I think.
I'm not sure exactly how to follow what you're saying.
Well, one of my examples that I think that when somebody has an issue with something that relies to me, you've forwarded it to me through Messenger. I think when you've done that, correct me if I'm wrong here, when you've done that, we have now put my entire Messenger is pretty much become public record now because it was used for official communication.
Potentially.
Yeah, so Messenger becomes, we're using that platform on something we should probably email on or go back and forth with. And instead of using, our email, we're using Messenger, and then that turns into something that could become an issue with somebody that wants to cause trouble. I mean, logically, it's not a problem, but there could be somebody coming up that wants to cause trouble and say, oh, next thing you know, every message you and I have had now on Facebook, regardless of what it's about, can become public record if somebody asks for it. So I think that becomes an issue with it. When it comes down to people asking village questions on it, how are we going to respond to it? That's what I guess you're talking about with that. And, we now have the ability to take the official page, being the official Lake Park page. If somebody asks a village question, answer it from the Lake Park page, on your page. Since we're going to use the other page, it's just a informational page.
Well, let's say we take, like you set up, where we have the village official Lake Park Facebook page, and they make a post there, we make a post there, and then we share it with my page over there. Anybody who comes on and puts a comment is on my page, not back to the.
Not back on the other page, right? I personally think instead of you posting something on the page under the village and posting the same thing on your name on your page, I think the best way to do it would be to post it on the official page and then share it from the official page onto your page. That way there's a trail of how it worked.
And it's
And went
changing.
through. And it went through.
It does change that. I don't remember to the extent, but posting on an official and sharing is different than posting.
Correct.
So sharing is you're in a better place.
sharing what-
You're sharing what's posted, right?
Yeah.
Which
So-
again creates a trail too of
Right.
where it came from. And it's still, and then it's all gonna be on the official page. So regardless of what happens to your page, let's just say, and God forbid this happens, because I've known people this happened to, Jeremy's one of them. Let's just say you and Wendy, you two are the only administrators of your page? You and Wendy are the only two administrators of your page,
Yeah.
correct? If you guys
She
somehow.
doesn't do anything.
Well, but she has access to it, don't,
Yeah.
we got that recorded. You just said she doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Okay. But, if, like, just give you an example, Jeremy got hacked and lost control of everything he had.
Yeah.
If you both got hacked and lost control of everything you had, then we've got a page out there that has a bunch of official business on it that can't be accessed now. It may get taken down too, because it had fraudulent users, because the person that hacked Jeremy,
It's mine's gone.
his is gone, and it was changed, the name was changed to something else, and anything and everything he had was gone.
Well, our official page,
It couldn't get hacked.
Yeah.
Now, with that, it's set up differently, because it's one of the Meta business sites, as opposed to, a personal site, so I don't know what the access, accessing it, like I said earlier, is a whole lot different than I ever thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Where you have to get through everything on it, so.
The last thing I'll just bring up, and I think this creates an opportunity that we need to look at our social media policy. I think that's.
Yeah, that's what it's all leads
where it
to,
leads
yes, we got it.
Is unknowingly creating a quorum by, there's a post, there's a comment or whatever, and then Jim comments on it, Mark comments on it, Steve comments on it, and then I go comment on it.
yeah. He throws us under the bus.
I rode with you. No, I'm just saying.
I know.
If we do that,
And we basically.
we may or may not have created a public meeting violation.
And if I remember correctly, did we not have a situation like that? This is before Mark, it was on council. Before Mark and Steve were on council, but didn't we have
Yeah,
a situation with the,
She
with the
basically-
vandalism in the pool? And everybody but me, I just didn't see it, commented on it. We ran into a problem where we created a quorum and it became brought up in court.
That was man, I think that was a juvenile court, I think.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, yeah, it did come up. Yeah, I wasn't very much involved with it, other than to say, stop commenting. But the venue it came up with, court-wise, fortunately, it wasn't regular, publicly accessible court system. The juvenile system is not.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's useless.
So we'll get with Abby Ball, try to find out what they're doing.
Yeah, we can look at, I think the first thing to do is look at their page and see how they're doing, and then we move on from there.
Anything else? Consider authorizing the circular bonds, so June 11th, we adopted the resolution. June 19th, she reran the ad and the inquiry, the 10-day waiting period expired on July 3rd. So tonight, we would need a motion, if you so desire, to authorize the sale and move forward with the sale of the Churchill property.
The motion to move forward with the authorizing the sale.
Jim made a motion, Bruce second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ms. Reed will work with those folks. At this point, if you so desire, we will call a closed session. This will be pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143, 311, 318.11, A3, to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged. Is there a motion?
Motion to go to private session.
Jim has made a motion. Is there a second? Mark seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, call the Village of Lake Park open session back in. And there are no announcements from the closed session. Community information, Mark.
Okay, first up is Ruth McCarthy. Ruth passed on June 4th, as you all know. She was aged 82. Ruth's life will be celebrated Sunday, July 21st from 1 to 3 at the Lake Park Community Center. This will be a casual afternoon gathering with refreshments for families and friends to remember Ruth. In lieu of flowers, the family asked that donations be made in Ruth's memory to the American Lung Association. Today I received an email from the Union County Chamber Newcomers Guide. This is a yearly thing that they put this thing out. And so it's that time again that we need our information updated. And I sent everybody in here a link to what last year's looked like. And the picture and everything, we had the best presentation, I think, of any town, city in Union County. So if there's any changes to that, or you want to see anything updated in the works, let me know.
I sent you 2 things.
Oh, did you? Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. And then next up is, this is just Pat Long messaged me today. They have what the old Lake Park Cafe is now going to be some type of events place.
Mhm.
And they were doing some construction here and there and it's kind of general, pace. And all of a sudden, there's nothing being done for the last, is that still a go? You know
There
anything?
were people working on it on 4th of July.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they had to stop and get some permits.
Oh, they had to get some permits? Okay. That
That's
is
maybe why they were working on 4th of July.
no permit question. Got it. Then I got an email from a Dustin Melton. Anybody know him?
I've heard that name before. It sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
And he mailed this to me on Wednesday, July 3rd, and said, "Good morning, I have a question. We live on Bobby Lane, and we are wondering if we were to clean up / repair the park bench by Bobby Pond, if we could place a small in memory of plaque on it." And I told him, I don't know, I will bring it up at the council meeting.
Was Melton the gentleman that,
There was another, yeah, and probably
No.
wasn't him, no. There was somebody else that wanted to add a bench.
Well, we talked about moving those benches at Bobby Pond. Yeah, somebody came to Park and Rec, but it wasn't that, it wasn't.
It wasn't him, no.
no, I can't think of her name.
I'm tipping my tongue too.
And then the problem we have is if, everybody wanted to start doing that. And then we'd have to keep track of who's that, if they moved and the sticker comes up or whatever, it'd be kind of a mess to do.
We
it
need to
that
get
way.
the bench, if there's something wrong with the bench, we get the bench repaired, for sure. I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but
Yeah.
we'll get John to look at it. They're welcome to purchase a bench and put out in memory of somebody.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if they purchased one,
Yeah,
then
No.
they could do it
They have to buy it from.
through us.
through us,
through
okay.
us.
Yeah.
Well, what's the approximate cost of it? It's like
About
2 for
1200.
3,000 or something like that?
You gotta get 2 at a time too.
Yeah, I know.
I was
that's
gonna
right.
say, I wanted to say, the gentleman has retired and he gave me another guy's name and I called him, I haven't heard back and I have not followed up, so I need to do that.
Yeah.
But I think you're around $1,400.
So we'll move on, right? And I'll tell him there's 2.6. All right, that takes care of that. Lastly is the HOA meeting, not real eventful. There were 20 violations last month. There were hearings on 2 of them. 4 resales last month, Wendy was 1. Architectural stuff, there were 14 total architectural requests. 12 were approved, 2 are still open.
Do they say what the problem is with the request
No,
when they're open?
they didn't get it.
They do all their requesting, the conversations on request and closed session, I believe.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, one-on-one with the person.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be around for, yeah. Especially if there's a problem with it.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Got any information for me for the newsletter? Not that I really need much, but.
We can get, I don't know, there's several things, trash collection.
Yes, we need to.
We still
continue.
pushing fishing license?
We're still selling fishing.
We're gonna do that
license.
until lakes freeze over.
Yep.
Okay.
We need to remind everyone to please be a good walking partner. People do their sidewalks, so that keep their sidewalks clear.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a neighbor, I'm gonna tie back his rose bush.
And
He'll get the kick.
we also need to remind people, you would think, we need to remind them about the recycle calendar where it's posted on the website. And that bins will be over the next month, will be distributed to residents. And they'll be picking up the other ones. It's amazing the questions that I'm getting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you mentioned like July 11th was the day.
Yeah, this
Thursday,
Thursday, they said they would do
As
most
many
of
as
them
they
this
can.
Thursday. If the route bins are out there, they're gonna get a cart.
Yeah.
So,
except I have sent
couple.
a name, people are very adamant not wanting a cart. So,
Yeah.
if they don't want a cart, then, I guess you're not recycling.
Right?
No, we
no.
will not pick those up.
Yeah, Robin Bolin, I think her last name is, over on Mimosa. She's a real nice lady.
Yeah, she's a sweet.
Yeah, and she said, yeah, I just don't do that much recycling and.
That's
So
fine.
I said, just put the name on the card, and just say, I don't want any more, just stick it out here. She said, can I put stuff in it first? I said, yeah.
But anyway, it wouldn't hurt to reiterate the trash stuff because people are not getting it.
Yeah, I came up with that, the trash can guy with the whole
Mhm.
thing, where I now put down recycle week, not recycle week. That seems to help a lot. I posted that on all the different pages.
Now, Sarah showed me that this morning.
Oh, and by the way, do you send out a trash thing, don't you, or do you not?
I don't send out any trash.
Okay. Just for recycling,
Yeah, I can send one for the
I was just saying, like, it's recycling week or.
recycling week.
Yeah.
That I will do.
Joe asked me for.
Okay, if there's no objections, I'm going to go back to stormwater for just a quick minute. And this just popped in my head of what we were talking about with, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, I mentioned with Jeremy talking before, and then during a closed session, he said something unrelated, but it said something just made me think about it. I think that how many storm drain basins do we have? 200 and?
Like 268.
268. I think that we should have the mayor divide areas up by 6, and each one of us go out and physically check them and get an idea of what's going on. Let's look at these things. Like I said, Lori could have hurt herself pretty bad. If she was some other person, we'd probably have a medical bill we'd be looking at right now. I think it's important that we look at these right away to see what's going on and try to do that. If we can divide the neighborhood up, it's a lot. Everybody said it's a lot. We got 6 of us, 5 on council with the mayor. Divide it up into 6 areas, draw a map, cut it up, and each one of us, within the next couple of days, check out all of these and see what we can do about marking them off.
I can tell you one of the problems. I think that's a great idea. One of the issues you're gonna have to do is walk from the catch basin in the road between the houses, because that's where we're finding the holes. Jim sent me one that they're gonna camera tomorrow along with, another one that I'm drawing a blank. There's one across, yes, in Christopher, beside Gene Foster. So they're gonna do those tomorrow.
I'm not objecting to going and doing that. I was speaking more on the sidewalk. That's where I'm really worried about,
Okay,
which is where, the sidewalk at the bases seems to be where we're having some problems.
okay,
And I'd like to identify those as soon as possible. I think
Okay.
that would be a good
so
way to do
looking
it.
to see if the sidewalk's flooded.
Those are certainly the more areas we're subject to liability. That's, I agree.
I don't know that I'm gonna get that done for you, but make it happen. Soon as I'll try.
Well, you're the only one that lives on the other side of the church, so you have all of that.
We can each take our neighborhoods. We'll start with that. I think Forsyth's probably the smallest neighborhood, so I'm good.
People at cul-de-sacs have to take questions.
What we're gonna have to do, you gotta get out and walk at each one.
Yeah, you don't see,
Can you see it? Can you get there? You go to each storm basin?
and you kind of need to take you up, not rebar, but one of those green stakes. Or
Either
yard
that or a
stick or
flat
something.
shovel that you can see if
Yeah.
there's a gap between the.
Sidewalk and
Not even the
grass.
sidewalk, but where the storm drain.
You want me to?
I mean, I'm leaving 3 o'clock in the morning, Thursday morning, and I'm going for a week, so
Want me to work on try that?
you don't mind.
Okay. I don't mind. I'll try to do that. I can map out.
Then I have one quick thing before y'all can adjourn.
I'm sorry about that.
So today, this afternoon, Bjork Hansen with Union County sent the copy of what you have here. And this is being rezoned, and we need to have a response back to him by August 1st. And what they're showing on here, so this is Lake Park, the little neighborhood, and this piece is being rezoned. And when he first said driving school, in my ignorance, I'm thinking like, you know, where you park, cars for kids to go learn how to drive. But I'm thinking driving school, he's talking commercial 18-wheelers. Because this thing is like 12 or 13 acres. And also a flea market. I'm gonna reach out. I reached out to Bjork this afternoon, did not hear back from him to verify that. But I wanted to let you know that this is what they're proposing right on the other side of, you know, Secret Shortcut. I thought at first it was right up here where they wanted to put that school, but it's down a little bit, but it would be commercial property in what is either undeveloped or residential.
That's
So
Indian
he's-
Trail,
It's county,
it's unincorporated.
it's county, so it's unincorporated. So please send me your thoughts and we'll put it together and send it to Bjork to see. And if you don't have an opinion, you know, if it doesn't bother you, then that's fine. But I'll also let you know what he says about the driving school. What kind of driving school?
Yeah.
Because it makes a whole lot of difference if it's like a little course that kids drive versus 18-wheelers pulling in and learning to park and all of that.
Maybe a drive for golf driving school.
Yeah, no.
Cool. All right.
The driving range.
Council comments, Jim?
Happy anniversary, how your vacation?
Just work. Morning work.
Are you going on to work?
But thank you very much.
Welcome. And, thanks everyone for all the hard work everyone's doing. Thank you. Happy anniversary. Thank you everybody for your hard work, dedication. Both my life. Bruce?
I would say happy anniversary, so the heck with that.
Yeah.
But,
Happy anniversary. And, you know, to you and to Carrie, who let you out tonight.
okay.
Just like Lori lets you out.
That's right.
You're not going on vacation. It's work for me.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell you, have a good time, I guess. Good luck with your meeting.
Thank you. Rick?
Thank you, guys. As always, it takes a village. And I guess you and I will work on the sign for Jennifer to get up for no smoking zone.
Yeah, I'll come by tomorrow and take a picture of that one on the fence.
Okay.
Get a hold of Judy over the gas signs. I think we're gonna need like half a dozen of them. By the time we can come spread them around.
Really?
I thought we just said we were just gonna put one right up at the, where it is, right at the entrance, saying smoking in designated areas, only that designated smoking zone.
I think we'll probably have to put a couple.
Yeah, but you're gonna buy a,
Smokers outpost thing, that kind of thing, and that'll go down there,
By the
end of the
trash
sidewalk
can,
by the
yeah.
trash can.
By
With
the
a sign
line.
there that says designated smoking.
She'll want to sit there and just go like this. Great design.
We'll do that.
All right, I would just like to thank everybody for work tonight, and we spent a ton of money, but I think it's money that absolutely ought to be spent to save,
More coming.
to save a lot of money in the future and identify these things reported, so I thank everybody for the work they're putting in. I would publicly like to tell my wife happy anniversary since I'm here, and it's our 30th anniversary. I was young back then, so I did, I had hair.
I was gonna say, did you pull that in, or is that real?
You look so young too. Oh, you were? I was. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Bruce has made a
I'll
motion to
second.
adjourn. Mark is second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
What is it, is this 30? Which one is that? Is that like double diamonds? Is it really? Oh.
Did she get a diamond?
She wanted an anniversary. and she
Oh,
did it.
nice.
All right.
that's
long
all.
as I have, and I'm a
My
lot
email.
of it.
I'm not worried about
I know
it.
there's nothing in there. That's-
All right, Joe.
Kim, thank you.
Like I said, I didn't get anything on the.
Yeah, I gotta figure that out, 'cause it should be emailed to
All
you.
right.
Needy help.
No rush.
And Mark, I'm gonna check yours.
All right.
Mark.
I'll talk to you.
Hey, Mark.